now that I look back and I've been more educated with my food and my just overall like nutrition, I'm like, is it the food or is it the chemicals in the food that puts you in that position? Because if you have like a grilled chicken breast with broccoli, no one feels that great, you know? Everyone's like, they feel satisfied, they feel good, but no one gets that like that comfort, you know what I mean?
Bruh. And that yes, man. Yes, dude. This is it, right? Because I think it's the chemicals in the food.
100% agree.
And that's that other piece, bro, because think about it. The stuff that made me feel comfortable, and what I'm hearing, the stuff that made you feel comfortable, the nutritional benefit is low, bro.
Sure.
Bless up, bless up, bless up. Welcome back to It's More Than Black or White.
Welcome.
Yeah, man. B, you see, man, we got some more followers on there. We got some more followers.
We got quarter century, right? 25 we're up to?
Quarter century, man.
Nice, man.
You know what? Let's make a push for the century.
Dude.
Let's go, people. Like, listen, if you're liking the material, like, share, subscribe. B, you got some words for them?
Yeah, just keep, like Paul said, like, share, subscribe. It helps us out with the YouTube channel. It definitely for me, it's motivation. It's like, all right, we're helping people. Like, then we get more excited about it. We try to push more content, and like, subscribe, motivate us, help us out.
And when this is coming out, please share this, because this particular episode is right on time for the holidays. Okay. Thanksgiving, boy, the gobble turkey. You know, you got the good size that you love. You got Christmas with all the sugar cookies and sweets and hot cocoa and chilling with your partner right here, snuggled up, right? And this is a right time for people to emotionally eat. Now, B and I were talking about this. We were in the pregame. And I'm going to be sharing more of my experiences with this, because I am an emotional eater. My voice even just cracked just there. I was like, it's like I was in AA. Hi, my name is Paul, and I'm an alcoholic. Hi, Paul.
Welcome, Paul.
Yeah, thank you very much. It all started when I was 5. And actually, so what we're going to rock with today is going over some of the components of emotional eating, the impacts. I'm going to discuss for me how it started, and I think it may relate for some people out there. And then, as we always do, we're going to wrap up with what are some things that you could do to support yourself in overcoming emotional eating. And I say overcoming because it is, I think emotional eating is really like, it's something that, I'm going to speak for myself, I get to practice overcoming, right? So, B, a question for you, man. Like, so when you hear the term emotional eating, like, what are the first things that come to your mind, man?
First thing, it's an for me, it's an underlining emotional, well, it makes sense, comes emotional eating. Something stressful in your life is happening, which is causing you to either not eat, overeat, or whatever the situation is. So you're basically a slave to your food, depending on your emotional state. That's what the first thing. Like we were talking pregame before, like I don't really have personally too much experience with it for myself. I do know when I get stressed, like I just don't eat, because my mindset's like there's something I can physically be doing and being proactive at doing to get myself out of that stressful state. Just say it's like with my business or something like that. So, I mean, there'll be times where I don't eat for 10, 15, 20 hours. And anybody that knows me knows I eat like all the time. I'm like a human garbage disposal, So it just like, I just like kind of like shut down. I don't get hungry, and I just kind of focus on, it's almost like basically like the whole fight or flight, if tiger jumps out, you don't think about food. You like get the hell out of there, fix something. That's the way I deal with it.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. Man, everything you said resonated. I think the biggest thing that resonated with me and what you said is a slave to food. Is that you're a slave to food. And for people listening and watching this, I want you to think of like when Brian was saying when he gets stressed, right? Or when you get stressed, or you're sensing sadness, or you're sensing anger. What is your go-to, right? What is the go-to? Is it to dive into something, which means there's no eating, or does it mean to avoid something and go directly into eating?
Mm.
It's one of the two when it all comes down to
Yeah.
it. Until we learn to manage our like our emotions, right? And the impacts of our emotions.
Hmm.
Um when I think of emotional eating, I think of mm, I think of a comfort in food.
Yeah.
Um and I think that's more from my experiences. Like, so I'll share my experience. So when my parents got divorced, and well, it was first when I got separated, and my they had the parenting agreement to, like, I was gonna sleep at my dad's house on Friday nights and be with him for the weekends, at least for Saturday anyway. And so I was like, I know that I didn't like going down there. Like, I wanted to be with my mom, right? I was like, why do I have to go? It's your father, Paul. Go with your father. Go with your father. You know, I'm just like, no. And I was just very upset and cranky and quiet. And my dad was like, he was a very stoic, like abrupt guy. So my brothers always tell me that he was softer with me than he was with them. So bless up to him for that.
Hmm.
So his thing to quiet me down or to soothe me was food.
Mm.
So in our area, we used to have this place called Burger Express. Um, so he would take me there and he'd get me some cheeseburgers and fries and all this stuff. Like, I wasn't eating my mom's, like, because my mom was making like the old school burgers that were like this, like balls with like
Yeah.
wheat bread on top and shit. You know, my dad was taking me like Mickey D's and Burger
Mm.
Express with all the fun houses and toys. And I was like, oh my God, this is great. So it became like that space for me to really dive into, right? And like all of a sudden that became my way of soothing myself. So it was like, wow, because he would take me for like all kind of food and stuff, like chicken holiday with a 2-piece with the fry box and all that stuff and biscuits. And I was like, this was like from the time I was like 6 up until like 11, bro.
Mm.
Morning time, because I was like, his house kind of freaked me out. Morning time, he'd get me cheeseburgers, man. I have like 2 cheeseburgers for breakfast and all that stuff. And it became my comfort.
Mm.
So when I got older and like I had my teen years, like where I was like lifting more and like sports and stuff like that, I didn't really notice it until I got older. And like when I was working, I remember I was working at this place, ADP, and like I was in service and it was a stressful ass job, bro. And I remember like my way to soothe myself was cheeseburgers, alcohol, you
Mm.
know. And I noticed that that became my go-to. So like whenever I was sad or stressed, yo, give me that double stack.
Mhm.
I joke about it all the time, like, yo, that's my go-to. Like, yo, if you see me eating a double stack and large fries, something's going on in my life.
Yeah.
Smack that shit out of my hand, shake
Hmm.
my shoulders and be like, snap out of it, Paul, and I'll come back to life. But I think I bring this up because for several reasons, B. Because first of all, my age range, my age, in that age, and we've talked about this on the podcast, where that age up to 7, 8 years old is your root energy center development. So this is where we learn about what's stable, what's safe, what's secure. So in my instance, when I was younger, the safety meant like I was getting fed, I was getting what I wanted. Like, and even if like my dad used to buy me like these cars, expensive cars, I didn't know value of that stuff, and it impacted me, right? But like I recognized like that was what helped me feel safe. And when I was stressed, I started to develop the pathways of stress, get food,
Mm.
feel better, right? stress, get food, feel better. It's just like
Yeah.
a way to, it became this cycle like that I was just unconsciously in. Now, the second piece is that association of food brings comfort, right? Like, how many people do that stuff? Like, I still see it. Like, people are like, I'm stressed. Let me get these ring dings.
Yeah.
I'm like, you realize what you just did? Like, I mean, I'm sure you've heard that before, right? I'm sure
Yeah.
your clients have come to you and said that shit, right?
So let me ask you something. Do you think it's the food? Like you mentioned some before that kind of struck a chord to me.
Yeah.
Where you like your mother used to make the burgers, but you were like whatever. Now you're going to like McDonald's, and then you're like, oh, I feel so much better. Because it's interesting. Because I grew up the same way, pretty much. Parents got divorced at
Mm,
6. I lived in a very stressful household, and my
yeah.
mom was always busy. We didn't have a lot of money, so it was like McDonald's, Burger King, pizza, TV dinners, and when I eat that stuff,
Mm,
it's like even as I was getting older in my teens, I was like, like if I have like a stressful day, like just sitting there with like 3 cheeseburgers from Wendy's and a milkshake and just like lay on the couch and watch movies or whatever like that. I just felt like comfortable. I just like a bear about to hibernate for like the next 3 or 4 months. So I don't know if it's like now that I look back and I've been more educated with my food and my just overall like nutrition.
yeah.
I'm like, is it the food or is it the chemicals in the food that puts you in that position? Because if
I,
you have like a grilled chicken breast with broccoli, no one feels that great,
no,
Everyone's like
no,
they feel satisfied, they feel good, but no one gets that comfort. You know what I mean?
bruh. And that, yes, man. Yes, dude. This is it, right? Because I think it's the chemicals in the food.
I 100%
And that's
agree.
that other piece, bro, because I mean, think about it. The stuff that made me feel comfortable, and what I'm hearing, the stuff that made you feel comfortable,
Hmm.
the nutritional the nutritional benefit is low, bro.
Sure.
It's like it,
Non-existent.
it's not, yeah, right, bro. Especially now, like, well, I
Yeah.
mean, even then, bro, it's like,
Yeah.
the grease and the sugars and the facts of is far from nutritionally valuable. Yet at the same time, that's what it is. It's like, I think is what the ingredients of the food, what they make it with, and also how they sell the food,
Mm.
right? The marketing
Yeah.
of the food, like, hey, McDonald's and you, like, huh, like that. I'm just hearing that in my
Yeah.
head,
Yeah,
man.
get a couple of mascots, some colors, and a house that looks like a building that looks like a fun house. Ooh,
Right?
they know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing, dude.
you
They
know?
know what they're doing, bro.
Yeah.
And it's wild because it's like, so when because we talked about the fight or flight,
Hmm.
and because there's this, I think it's a lot of the chemicals and how the chemicals that shut down and activate when we get stressed or when we're on a
Yeah.
freeze or stuff like that. I think what's in the foods now is like, oh, this will soothe you temporarily,
Yeah.
right? This will soothe you and fill you up and let your belly feel this. And it's really, most majority of it is sugars, right? Like, it's these sugars in the foods that people fail to recognize, and these high calories, like all these chemicals. Like, when it comes down to it, bro, I've yet to see how Wendy's really makes their meat,
Yeah.
right?
You don't want to see it. They're
I really don't.
they're not
I
doing
really don't.
Wendy's is no time soon they're making a behind the scenes video of how they produce their meat.
No, bro. No, bro. It's like, come
unless
on.
unless you're shorting the stock, that's the
That's the only way they're gonna do that
only
shit,
way they're gonna do it. They're trying to short their own stock,
bro.
you know.
It's like, sure. It's like,
Listen,
when
I've
you
been
said
to
that,
those feedlots before. It is disgusting.
bro,
Like
I
these
can
these
imagine.
animals literally just stand in their own feces, urine. They feed it feces, urine, sawdust, cement dust, sewage, soy, antibiotics, and this is what we're putting in our body. And I'm a strong believer, like the more we eat this stuff, it's more of a sedative. And there's a lot of correlation out there. The more people eat fast food, the lower the IQ. The more
Mhm.
programmable is that even a word? Programmable?
Yep.
Yeah, programmable. I guarantee that's not a word. But you
I'm looking it
become,
up.
more of a slave you become to social media, everything. So it's they want you to keep eating that stuff. They
Yes,
want,
they do. And by the
yeah.
way, programmable is a word.
Is it a word? Look at that.
It is. Yeah, bro. I'm
Yeah.
looking at that right now.
All right.
Programmable of a
Okay.
computer or other machine able to be provided with coded instructions for the automatic performance of a task. Listen to
Okay.
this, right?
Yeah.
Very interesting. Coded instructions. Why?
Mm,
Why? Why does that? Why? What's the reason that's appealing to me? Because when we think about when we talked about the marketing, right? We talk about what's in this. Like our body is a series of programs, man,
sure.
and chemicals. And the things are is that when we have these emotions, our chemicals, like we're electric, we're magnetic.
Yeah.
Our bodies will shift and adjust based on our emotions. So if there's even down when it comes to the music, like if someone's sad, like the music that they listen to can drive them to do certain things, right? And
Sure.
we'll get into the music in a time. I want to focus on the food though, because listen, the thing is that the food can be a comfort to us, in my judgment, based on earlier things in life. So if there's an association, well, it's like our food tends to fill a void when we get older. All of a sudden, that can be our filler for the rest of our lives, man. And if we there's no education as
Mm,
to, hey, listen, eat this instead of that, right?
yeah.
Then we're going to continue to eat poorly, and it's going to continue to deteriorate our bodies. Like so here's the thing, right? One thing I noticed which helped me out with the emotional eating when I have time, I found that for me to lessen the emotional eating, it was helpful for me when I learned how to cook.
Mm,
Okay, because it gave me time to prepare something, like put the food together, cook it, like smell it. Because when it comes down to it, food brings up a lot of senses to us, right? Like we're talking about our past experiences, right, B?
yeah.
And like I know for me, when I eat, like and I still listen, I want everybody watching and listening to this, like, please be free of thinking I got this shit handled down. Like, look, I went through some stress when I was doing the paternity paperwork, bro. Like, I was like, man, F this. I'm going to Wendy's, man.
Mhm.
Let me get that Dave single and large fries. Now, I felt like shit afterwards. So I was like, you know what I mean? Like, I was in a freaking coma.
Yeah.
I
I'm sure
was
that
like,
didn't surprise you though.
it
You
didn't
knew what you
surprise
were
me at
doing.
all. It didn't surprise me at all because that's what I thought I
Mm,
needed
yeah.
at the time, right? Go
It
ahead,
was
man.
interesting. I read a book one time. It's called, I have it back here. It's called like meme virus, the meme virus. And it was meme virus. I think it's by Richard Dawkins. And he talks about like when you think of something, like just say like, the ex-wife, right away you automatically have an image of something else that'll fix that. Like what can you do? What's your pill for that, or what's your way out of that? So for you, we're pretty dealing with stress. Wendy's pops up. Somebody when they're dealing with like heartache or alcohol, Budweiser pops up. So it's like every time you have this emotion, usually it's a corporation that kind of pops up in your head that tells you what's going to soothe you because that's your go-to. That's your vice. So
Mm,
what you did,
mm.
what you said before was pretty cool because you're like, now it's like when I start cooking my own food, you know your vice, but now you have control. You're not letting that corporation control. You're controlling what you're putting on that pan or putting in your oven, feed your body and nourish it. So it kind of like uplifts you, you know?
Yeah, bro. And that's a big piece, right? And thank you for hearing me, because when people, like coming back to the food piece, food can be a powerful sensory experience, right? So well, I'll speak for myself. When I learned to slow things down and really take in the senses, and also it was about learning to be with the emotions too, bro.
Sure.
That's a big piece, man. Like, hold up, like, wait, pause. What's going on here? Oh, I'm freaking angry. Okay, what about? Like,
Hmm.
it's almost like talking to myself
Yeah.
and talking myself off the freaking ledge of going to get the freaking double cheeseburgers and like the fatty foods and all that stuff to quote unquote help me feel better. Cause that's the piece with emotional eating. The only thing I'm doing is feeding the emotion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm free of feeding my body, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's why it's like I can eat something. I got these filler foods, and it's just like, bro.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when people talk about breakups. Oh my God, I sat on the couch with the freaking Ben and Jerry's.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's something sweet, right? That sweet, it's like if you want sweetness in your life. And was it Paul Check? But I remember it was an Integrative Institute of Nutrition. I think it was, so I got this. It's like if you're drawn to sweets, you're looking for some love. If you're
Mm.
drawn to some freaking salty crap, you want some freaking discipline or something like. So
Interesting.
there's something that the body is telling us
Mm-hmm.
when these emotions start sparking and we have these urges, that if we're able to go beneath the urge or go beyond the urge, we're able to really address what the body truly needs, man.
Sure. And if you
It's
look at
wild.
it too, like on a spiritual level, any addiction or any parts of your personality, say jealousy or whatever like that,
Yeah.
those are all things that need healing.
Yes.
So your body, the universe is always going to keep signaling. They're always going to keep putting these obstacles in your way to bring up those emotions.
Yep.
So finally, if you ignore it today, you're gonna have to deal with it tomorrow. So might as well like, or if you ignore it in this life, you know what, you're gonna have to deal with it in another life. So your soul's always trying to heal itself somehow, and the signals are out there, and they're. So next time, like what I'm basically saying is, you had this urge to go to Wendy's. You have an addiction, to food for comfort. It's going to keep coming back to you until you get to the underlying course of it. And I think you made an awesome first step. I was like, all right, let's start. I don't have to fix the emotional aspect of it, but let me start cooking my own food. Let me have at least have some control over it first. You know?
Exactly, dude. Like, and thank man, bro. It's like so much in what you said just activated in me because
Yeah, we just have like three more podcast topics right there.
bruh, I know, bro. Seriously, man. Oh shit. All right, yo. So, dude. So,
I got to pull back before we start going down the rabbit hole here.
yo, bruh. It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah, because I was about okay. So I'm gonna hold up, breathe, Paul.
Yeah.
Ha. So I want to address something that I think is important for all people to recognize when it comes to the emotional eater. And from a psychology standpoint, I'm bringing in the archetype of the lover. The Jungian concept of archetypes talks about these different phases that each of us have. And uh, it's Douglas and Gillette. They wrote a book called King, Magician, Warrior, Lover.
Mm.
And they talked about in these archetypes, there's different poles. So like for example, in the lover archetype, on one pole, there's like like I'm not even getting into that, but like in the
Before I
lover,
cut you off, what's an archetype for the listeners?
oh, so archetype is like a blueprint, right? So archetype is the best way to describe it is like each of us have these blueprints within us that determine like how we love and see new beginnings, how we protect and have discipline, how we create, how we manage our sovereign selves. The thing is though is that most of the time when people have yet to really learn about these, a lot of these parts of ourselves stay dormant, or they're in a part, or they're in like there's this term shadow. They're in like this shadow form. Like, so like a lover could be someone that's like an addict,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
And it's like instead of really managing and knowing what love is, they're addicting to something, looking to get that high,
Mm.
looking to get back that feeling. So I bring this up because for me, in those situations where emotions were coming high, like that's why I was addicted to, that's why I'm addicted to the food, because I'm looking to chase that feeling of like, oh, I was stressed, food, but I never get that, right? I
Yeah.
never get that. That's the piece with the addict, man, which is like we get to understand from the emotional side. And also the lover archetype is about our senses, like being sensual. So this is what I was starting to mention before. Food is a very sensual experience, right? So if you think about when you cook a good meal or when you go out, right? Like you think about the last time you went out, you most likely can think of the atmosphere, the
Mm-hmm.
presentation on the plate, right? The smell, the taste, the collection of flavors. It brings about an experience. That's the piece about the emotional eating too. It can bring about those same type of experiences and make us fall in love with like, oh, I'm back up again. No, no, you're not, motherfucker. Like, yo, like, but like, especially if it's something that's toxic, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
like the food that's gonna damage you. If you're going out for a great meal or you're cooking for yourself and you're like, God, smell those peppers and spices and all those things. Now it starts to rewire
Mm-hmm.
a lot of those emotional eating habits that you may have, man.
Love it.
Does that help out?
Neurotransplicity.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, like
That's
being able to shift, man, and like change the pathways, bro.
sure, man. That was awesome.
Huge.
Very cool. Very cool.
So let's thinking about this, B.
Mhm.
And like after I spoiled my guts about my childhood, right?
Good.
uh,
Yeah.
huh?
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Thank
A
you,
lot of
man.
people can relate to that. Definitely.
Dude, and listen and think about and the reason I thank you, man, and I'm happy that we're putting this out around this time because think about what happens around the holidays. Like I hear a lot of people say, like, "Oh God, I gotta build my family.
Yeah.
Oh God, I gotta get the GI Joe, the Kung Fu grip for all my children." Like,
Yeah.
it's like that will create stress, and all of a sudden, now guess what? I'm eating instead of the double cheeseburger, I'm eating the freaking cookies people are bringing into work.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah. A
mean?
lot of people. Like, I'm talking to a couple clients, and they're already stressing. Like they're already stressing about like money. Like we're having an inflation period right now. Then their kids want this and all this other stuff. They're going through a bad breakup, and no one wants to really do a holiday by themselves. So
Oh,
it's couple that on top of each other. What's one thing that's going to comfort you? Sugar, alcohol, food, drugs. You know, so it's tough. It's not easy around the holidays.
no, man, no, and this is a key piece. So especially with the holidays coming, let's start to as we start to wrap. Let's start to look at what are some things that people can start to do to address the emotional eating that they may have programmed in their mind about like, hey, I'm an emotional eater. All right, well let's address that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
So
mean,
like let's huh?
yeah, I would do exactly how you presented it. Like I would be like, all right, why am I craving these foods every time I'm in this emotional state? What's the etiology of this feeling? For
Mm,
you is parents got divorced. You didn't really like going to your dad's, but he kind of fed you. What's the reason you didn't like going to your dad? Maybe he was intimidating or whatever like that. I grew up the same way. My mom was like, I always wanted to stay with my mom. My mom was awesome. My dad
yeah,
was like super strict,
yep.
alcoholic, abusive on so many levels. So it's like I didn't like going over there. But when I ate like that, when I
Right.
ate like fast food or whatever like that, I would feel better about going over there. So for me, it was like, I didn't feel safe. So putting that stuff in my system, that's root chakra problems. So if I were going to go into it, I'd be like, all right, I need to figure out my root chakra issues. I need to deal with this and take it head on instead of, keep doing all these other stuff on the surface and without avoiding the internalness.
Brother. See, this is one of the many reasons I adore you, bro. I swear to God, man. Like you and I, bro. Yo,
But
same thing, bro. So I'm gonna pull something up here, okay? There's an article when I was researching this, Brian. I was looking at just like what are the overall definitions that come up about emotional eating,
mhm.
and I found a really great article in Prevention. It's from August 1st, 2022. I'm going to share that with the folks. Let's see, where is it here? Okay, cool. B, let me know when you can see this, okay?
Okay.
I guess they say fair use, right? I'm putting it out here. This is
Uh-huh.
Prevention. We're going to include the link,
All right.
okay? So listen, I brought this out because I think it's a lot of the things that I wrote down for how to stop your, I'm like very suspect of the languaging here. And
Mhm.
thank you for this article, prevention. 12 ways to ease or divert stress eating. Okay. And some of the things we started talking about already and that I like, first thing is grab a glass of water. A lot of times when, and B, I think you and I spoke about this.
Mhm.
Anyway, it's about a lot of times when I think I'm hungry, most times I'm dehydrated.
Mm.
So grab a glass of water. Think about your life. All right.
Yeah.
I laugh because it's like, a lot of times I've done this and I'm like, what the heck am I doing drinking water and thinking about my life? But then, like, the slower I drank, I was like, yo, man, I needed that.
Yeah.
And being able, and this talks about too, many ways, many of us don't drink enough water anyway and can confuse signs of hunger or unmanageable stress for what is really actually just thirst.
Yeah, and to kind of double click on that too, even if you're just like,
Yeah.
all right, I'm gonna eat fast food because I feel stressed out. At least do your body a favor and grab a glass of water.
Yep.
Increases HCl in your stomach, which helps you absorb the nutrients better, or what is not too much nutrients in it, but it's going to help you break it down so it diverts any kind of digestive issues. So if you can eat like crap, at least grab yourself a glass of water, pound that, then eat like crap. It'll help out.
Hey, listen, can I tell you that's the realest shit right there, bro?
Mhm.
Because most people are like, don't eat it. Like, look,
Yeah,
what we're saying, people, is like this is a marathon and free of being a sprint.
yeah.
Sometimes it's one action. We've talked about this
Mhm.
many times. It can be one action that starts to change the trend. It's that neuroplasticity, man. That's what we're talking about. The
Yep.
second one that I thought was really important, they came right out the gate with some strong ones, and we started talking about this.
Mm.
Write it down, aka address the issue. Like Brian, you mentioned about like this is some root chakra stuff. This is some root energy stuff right here.
Yeah.
But like really, like, okay, damn, man, like, all right, I'm feeling angry right now. And just like when I started doing this, right, when I started really working through my stress and I was journaling a lot at the time, I recognized for myself, like when I started journaling, like I was like, I'm gonna journal about this, and then I get to the paper and I was like, I don't know what to write.
Mm.
So if this is you out there, what I want you to do is write the emotion. Like, are you sad, angry, and until you're able to really write some of the stuff out, keep writing that emotion: angry, 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 sad, 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 glad. Damn, they stole my bike. All of a sudden, I love Snickers bars because this girl Danielle, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, now it starts to come out, and really, what it comes down to, people, emoting is like anything else. It's a form of expression. The more we suppress our emotions, the more damaging they could be to us. So write that piece down, man. Write down everything that can clarify where the stress is coming from and can give you the perspective that while eating a bowl of pretzels does not. I love how they said that. In fact, fix the faucet. But maybe YouTubing how to do it does. Wait, what? I don't understand. Whatever. But like, I like what they said, like stress, like writing down can clarify where the stress is really coming from and help you to address it.
Yeah. Writing releases negative energy.
Brother,
So that
brother.
helps.
So true, man. So true. I'm a big fan of the green tea. I started doing this more. And cinnamon's good for your metabolism too. But like, right now I'm drinking a little cafe. But like
Hmm.
the tea is good for you too. A lot of antioxidants, especially in a green tea. They talk about chamomile tea in here, but like there's a lot of things that you could do to start to ease the tension.
Yeah, cinnamon also balances blood sugar levels too. That'll help.
Oh, see? Big coming with the goody goods.
Hmm.
Yes, man. Yeah, and I do like the cinnamon in the coffee. It's a freaking really
Hmm.
delicious treat. Another one that I like here is when they talk about walking, some form of exercise. So when I was training more often and I work with clients that are mostly eight, I was like, okay, let's start to shift some shit. What don't you like to do? Like, I hate planks. All right, get your ass in a plank for freaking 45 seconds.
Hmm.
If you want to eat after that, go eat after that. All I'm saying is, it's just like Brian when you're talking about the water. start to do something to begin to spark something else, right?
Yep.
Your neural pathways have created a pattern, which unconsciously is your go-to. Like as soon as something happens, I create a pattern. Like I'm gonna go here.
Mm-hmm.
It's a split second. It's free of being a conscious choice
Yeah.
until we start to make it a conscious choice. Then we could do something different. B, you want to add anything on this, or add some exercises that people could do? Maybe jumping jacks, burpees, headstands. I don't know, bro. Whatever.
Do anything that just like anytime you move, you create your fascia, you create what they call piezoelectric energy within your body, piezoelectric electricity. What that does, it just nourishes the hormones, and nourishes the organs, and nourishes the brain, and nourishes everything in your body. So create
Yeah.
that movement in your body, and it's going to go such a long way. Like I was reading something the other day, like 3% of women work out. That's including walking their dog. 8% of men work out. Like it's such a low, including like like most people think of like a workout is, you know, walking from their car into the supermarket. You know, get up, do something every day. You should be doing something. If you're not moving, you're dying. You know, think of it as like, either you're a river or you're a swamp. you know, you know, keep doing
Ooh.
something. Help.
Ooh. B.
Mm-hmm.
B. My guy. Oh man. Dude, you hit on the head. Okay, so listen, I'm gonna do two more. All right. Come on, seven. Come on, seven. Um, so there was number seven here, right? What I liked. They talk about clementine, have avocado toast. Listen, the reason why I'm skipping over these people is because like sometimes, especially when you're looking to break a habit, I'm really focused on like what are some of the things you can do immediately to do something different, right? And sometimes making avocado toast, it's
Mm-hmm.
like, what do I get? Is this avocado good? It's like
Yeah.
there's so much thought there. All of a sudden, like I'm F it.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the cheeseburger?
Yeah.
So this is like what really caught me here is that research indicates that the pleasure you get from eating comfort food lasts only 3 minutes, bro. 3 minutes. Keeping that number front and center in mind is helpful. What is going to make me feel better for longer than 3 minutes?
Yeah.
You know? And this one, like, I was reading this B, and this one freaking got me, man. I was like, and like, what got me is that shit, man. Damn. Okay, I'm gonna say it. Like, dude, like, I wish my dad had the emotional wherewithal to like hug me,
Yeah.
to like, dude, like, okay, hey, man, I know you probably don't want to go here. Let's like, here, come here, give me a hug.
Yeah.
Like, dude, let's go to arcade or something, man. You know what I mean?
Guaranteed that's not
And
how he was raised, though.
that's not how he was raised, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, my dad was a Jamaican Cuban cat, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he grew up from nothing, man, and he had nothing. So for him, his way to comfort was through food, right? And providing and making sure you're fed because he went hungry for days most of the time. And I bring this up because a lot of, in my age range anyway, and even now, there's a lot of people that may be emotionally disconnected. So they're going to go to their go tos of what comfort can look like. And most of the time, those can be toxic, man.
Sure.
So I bring this up because sometimes the thing that can help us with emotional eating is contact, being able to express, being able to talk to someone, call someone, like be heard, be seen, man. Like, hey, if you're with the spouse, man, hey, girl, come over here, give me a kiss real quick. Let me
Yeah.
smack you on your bottom, rub on your tush tush. You know what I mean? Like, give you something different that
Yeah.
will bring that same type of emotional bliss other than something that's going to destroy you. Just something that's going to bring you up.
Definitely.
So that
Just
one hit
thinking
me.
long term, this resonates with me a lot. This is I have this conversation with a lot of people who are like, oh, you don't eat pizza, you don't drink beer. I'm like, not really, because like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's great while I'm doing it, but afterwards, I just feel like shit for the next day. Like my joints ache. I can't concentrate because my head's all over the place, and like my sleep is shit. I'm like,
Yep.
why would I sacrifice 3 minutes of joy so I can feel like shit for the next 24 hours? To me, that just like, now it's just stupid, you know?
Yeah,
You
bro.
know, don't get
Yeah.
me wrong. Like I do eat, you know, stuff every once in a while. I can't remember the last time I had a pizza or a beer, but
Yeah.
I do treat my I do treat myself, but I know what I'm getting myself into, and also that's 1% of my diet. Like literally
Right.
99% of my diet's like organic or grass fed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, man. And listen, B, I love what you're saying there because I look at that like beer, pizza and a beer would be my go-to. Whereas now it's like, all right, let me think about this. All right, I'll save that for when I go out with these cats because then I know the next day I don't have shit in the morning. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So it's
yeah,
like, because I know my body now. Like, and
mhm.
again, if I'm going to take that freaking route, and I know what's going to happen over the next day or so. Like, okay, what does my schedule look like? I got to plan that out and be selective in what I'm really consuming in my body, bro.
Yeah, and plus, you get to know your body. Like for me, when I drink alcohol or I have like fried cheese or whatever it is, like dairy, I blow it up. So like, look
Mm,
long term. If I do this so everyone's like, "Oh, have a cheat day." Cheat days do not work for me. If I have a
bro.
cheat day and I do that for the rest of my life, within 2 years, I'll be like 25% body fat just on one cheat day. Like, I like to stay lean. Like I don't, and it just
Yeah,
that
bro.
that that's me. Yeah.
I
Hmm.
love it, bro. I love it. I love that, bro. Thank you. I love you. I love how you, bro. I just really appreciate your transparency, bro. I love that shit. And the last one we'll wrap up with, and we started talking about this already, and this is what we're talking about now. Treat yourself, but with a plan. Treat yourself, but with a plan.
Hmm.
And look, if it's some dessert, like make it like a reward, something to work towards, rather than like, oh, I had a stressful week, I'm gonna do this. And I think about like, people that, especially in fourth quarter, man, we're coming up on this, we're in fourth quarter living right now. A lot of cats like, yo, wrapping up year end, wrapping up all, like, you got to get the last business deals in, you got to do this, all tax
Hmm.
season's coming up, I got to get holidays and blah 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 blah. And it's easy to go to like something that's going to make you feel good in the moment. What we're inviting you to do is like, all right, listen, I got this going this week. You know what, man? I want to get through all this, and then Saturday night I'm going to go and get myself a dessert. You're extending it's like delayed gratification, right? You're like, instead of like instant, like, I need to take care of myself. No, okay, I'm gonna work through it, knowing
Yeah.
like, hey, at the end of the week I'm gonna have that chocolate cake.
Hmm.
And people, I'm telling you, you may be like, Paul, you're full of crap, but I'm gonna tell you this right now. When you're able to do that, you're gonna savor that chocolate piece of cake. You may not even finish it.
Yeah.
You're gonna be like, is that coconut milk in that chocolate icing? Goddamn. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying, B?
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
yo, bruh.
Another
So,
way you can do it too, I learned from Charles Poliquin. He does this with most of his clients, or he did with most of his clients. He passed away, but he would give every one of his clients a 200-calorie budget every single day. He's like, hey, listen, just so you don't stress out, eat whatever the hell you want, 200 calories. Here's the thing, though. If you don't eat that 200 calories this day, you can't add it to next day and have 400. So, and that takes away a lot of the stress because a lot of people are like, oh, I can't eat like this the rest of my life, but at least when they have when they see that they can eat something, most
yeah.
people don't want it. They just want to know it's there. You know what I mean? So
Mm,
that's what I actually I stole that from him, and I do that with a lot of my clients. Like
I
200
like that
calories
a lot.
budget day and do whatever you want, whether it's a cookie or a piece of cake, whatever it is. Have an alcohol. I don't care what it is.
I like that a lot, bro.
So
Mm.
just a different avenue.
Brother, I love it. I love it. Man, so listen, we dropped a lot of gems up in this piece today. Lots of gems. So listen, people, like, B, what would be some of the last things, like what would be an ending message you would give the folks after everything that we covered today, bro?
I think
What you
we
think?
did. We covered a lot today. Things you can do by yourself. If you still
Yeah.
feel like you can't get past that, I would start talking to somebody then.
Yeah,
Talking to
man.
somebody on a professional level. You might be
Yeah.
dealing with something that's a little outside the scope of what we're talking about. But this,
Mm,
I think, can resonate with 98% of the people out there. But if
yeah.
you're that 2% that is way off the edge, where you're dealing with other kind of conditions which we didn't talk about, like anorexia, bulimia, other kind of conditions, that's say get help for that one. Get
Yeah,
help
man.
for those.
Brother,
Mm.
thank you, bro.
Yep.
Man, you heard it right here. My man B said it. So listen, people, if this resonated with you, we invite you, please share this. Like, the reason we get on here is we want to provide you all with tools and a guide to your light to take the best care of yourself that you can, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Yo, we're giving you the gems here. The thing is, now you get to integrate it. Please like, comment, share. Comment what resonated deepest with you. Maybe even comment like what are some of your emotional eating experiences? Because I'm telling you, we're heading to a space right now, everybody, where our collective intelligence is the most important. And that requires that we share our experiences and share them with transparency. So bless up to everybody. Thank you for joining another episode. This is More Than Black and White. See you in the next episode.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. Peace.